This video is about self-discipline, the challenges with building new habits, and why is it so hard to keep them once we've built them. Also, we'll talk about if you have challenges building self-discipline with new habits or particular things that you're doing, what can you do if you feel like you don't have enough and you want more? Self-discipline is about making a commitment to be uncomfortable. The reason that you're not disciplined in something is because you've avoided it so far in your life. And now maybe you're watching this video, maybe you're doing steps to become disciplined in some way. But the reason you haven't done that so far is because it's uncomfortable. So the first thing you have to realize is you're trying to make a commitment to be uncomfortable. It's a very hard thing to do. So first off, just pat yourself on the back because you're already taking steps to do that. Think about how hard it is just to take one cold shower, for example. If you went and you tried to take a cold shower right now, how easy would that be? Versus committing to doing that for like an entire year daily. It's much different where if you're making that type of commitment, you are looking at a future of discomfort and unpredictability. So there's going to be points along the way where you are foreseeing there's going to be harder times where I don't know what's coming. I've never done this before. And you're willfully committing to doing something uncomfortable when you don't necessarily know what all of that discomfort entails. So it's really scary for our brains. One of the most common reasons people struggle to stay consistent with new habits is because they get harder before they get easier. What do I mean by that? I mean, as you take on a new habit, let's say you're going to start working out, you're going to find that some days are harder, some days are easier. One day it's going to come along where you feel tested. You feel like, hey, maybe I don't know if I want to do this today. And that is a test to see your resolve. Are you going to be beat by your resistance or are you still going to do the activity? Obviously, don't do it if it's going to hurt you or be dangerous, but you're going to be tested over time as you try to stay consistent with that activity. And those challenges are going to get progressively more difficult. Think about it this way. There's a certain threshold of difficulty that you're trying to rise above, and it's never going to get more difficult than that necessarily. So as long as you can beat your resistance at that level, then you will have what it takes to stay consistent with that habit, working out, doing push-ups, maybe it's doing homework, maybe it's making videos every single day, no matter how hard it gets. Unless there's something that literally renders you incapable of doing the habit, you will probably stay consistent with that every single day until you decide it's not good for you anymore. One thing I want to clarify before we go any further is the difference between motivation and self-discipline. Motivation is feeling like doing the activity. And most of us will wait until we feel motivated to actually do work or do an activity or overcome a challenge. Self-discipline is doing the activity or doing the work, whether you feel like it or not. So that's the difference. As we go forward, just realize we're talking about self-discipline here, not motivation, not waiting to feel better. So a couple of things are going to happen as you're trying to build habits and maintain consistency. One is your brain is going to say, stop it, this hurts. I don't want to keep doing this anymore. Doing it every single day is tiring. All these excuses are going to come up that's going to make you want to stop. The other thing is that your brain knows that immediate comfort is so close and so rewarding, and it really wants it. You get a kick of dopamine when you reward yourself and when you make yourself comfortable. Let's say you want to work out today and you skip that workout, you have a nice hearty breakfast and you have some fattening food or whatever, you have some carbs, and it feels good. It feels good at the time, but later it won't. Our brains don't really think about that though. So long-term growth requires reflection and willful process, which most of us are not willing to do. So our brains are almost wired against us in a way where they crave constant comfort and reward. And that constant comfort and reward is actually keeping us from the growth and the payoff and actual rewards that we want to get in life. Now, there's something I want to key you into here that most people don't pick up on with this stuff. Your consistency is an agreement to yourself, like I mentioned earlier. So when you take on a new habit, you're saying, I'm going to do this on such and such days at whatever time. You're saying regularly, I'm going to do this so I can improve in this area or so I can get a result. And so you're making a promise to yourself. When you drop out of a consistent habit that you've kept up for a while, you are saying my word is not valuable. You're actually breaking a promise to yourself. And so what's happening is you're lowering your self-worth and your self-esteem. Your actual belief about your own worth goes down. You feel like less because you don't feel like your word is worth keeping. It becomes a belief, I can go back on my promises. And if I can go back on my promises, it must mean my promises are not that valuable. If I don't value my own promises, how can I expect other people to as well? So if you're in the same boat I used to be in, where you're trying to build self-discipline and it's proven to be kind of difficult, you're going to have to do two things. Number one, there's a key mindset shift you're going to have to make, which I'll explain in a minute. And number two, you're going to have to go through a process of building understanding and value of the thing that you are wanting to become disciplined on. Faking it does not work. True discipline comes from your deepest beliefs. So it can take some digging and some actual real self-work to get to the bottom of why you have discipline problems. If you try to fake it, you're probably going to find yourself slipping back into old habits. As for the mindset shift, and this is true for people who seem naturally disciplined, who just seem to have it all together, the mindset shift, and I know you're going to hate me for saying this because I would have hated me if I had heard this when I had a problem, is I'm responsible. It's moving from being a victim to being responsible. When you fall out of a habit and you say, oh, I fell out of it because I didn't feel good that day, that's a victim mindset. That's saying, oh, it's because of this external thing, I couldn't do what I committed to doing. So if you start saying, I'm responsible for my own success, I'm responsible for what I say, I'm responsible for the people that I lead, you are going to come from a position of power where you can approach your commitments and your habits much more empowered than if you had been thinking about what kind of difficulty you're going to experience or how bad it's going to be or how you're going to fail. So come at it with a responsible mindset where you're thinking, how am I going to succeed at this? If you're finding it difficult to build habits and stay consistent with them, try smaller habits. That way, when you come up against that inevitable day when you don't feel like it, you're much more likely to succeed against the resistance. Your goal here is to beat the resistance, because at each time that you beat that resistance, you're going to feel better and you're going to get better at it. Your self-esteem will go up. You'll have more power next time that resistance comes. And it's not going to seem as difficult when you meet those other pieces of resistance that you weren't used to before. So take on smaller tasks. Also, try blocking off time in your calendar. It's almost like when I put something in my calendar and it's every week or every day, and it's something I really want to do, it's almost like I'm making a pre-commitment to do it. And that way, when my phone vibrates and it alerts me to my habit that I want to do, it's almost like I'm telling myself, or I'm reminding myself, that I already agreed to do this thing and this is the time to do it. I think for me also, it just helps that I know I'm not having to do something else. I'm not supposed to be somewhere else in the world or be obligated to someone else at the time. So it gives me peace of mind knowing that that's what I'm supposed to do at that time during the day. Now, no matter what you do, you're not going to become some super disciplined machine overnight. You just need the right tools and shifts to start acting in alignment with your goals and build these habits consistently. In my online course, Spark, I show you how to rewire your behaviors so that consistency feels natural, not forced. When you're ready to stop relying on everything to feel right and the stars to align and start becoming the person who shows up every day, Spark is the next step. So go ahead and click the link below this video somewhere in the description down there and join the free course.